of us, we have a decoy circuit of a security system in which the closer we get, a lot of things will be activated to close down. It's also going to give us an alert that somebody is a little too close to the proximity sensor. Via the camera, we can see this. Here's how we build it. Very first thing we want to do is set up our Arduino programming software. And to do that, thankfully, the code has been provided by the professor. If you don't have a code provided to you, you go ahead and you write it out here on this sketch field, otherwise just copy and paste. Then you press upload. Don't worry if an error occurs, that's all right. You then press verify. We're not going to be needing the output. Instead, what we're going to do is go to serial monitor. To do that, you're going to go ahead and press this button over here. Now it's going to say that nothing is connected because it isn't. So we just go ahead and connect our USB linking cable, which turns our system on. And then we will see a live feed of just how close our hand can get. And of course, if done correctly, past a certain point, we will note the system changes. Okay, so bear with me. This is a very complicated build, right? Here are the materials that we're going to go ahead and need. We're going to need an ultrasonic sensor. We're also going to be needing one of these buzzers, 2 LEDs, one red, one green. Of course, we have our R3 power source. With that, we also have a servo motor with an attached tail. We need a linking cable so that we can hook up to the PC, as well as a breadboard, and about 10 jumper cables. Sizes may vary, doesn't really matter at the end, as long as you have jumper cables, but some of them might be better off in a smaller scale. But anyway, let's go ahead and get started. We're first going to take our sensor, and we're going to go ahead and input this, if I'm doing this correctly, on the E's with the sensors facing outward. So let me see. Do I have this down? I think, yeah, there we go. Okay, sweet. So it's going to be from 5 to 8. There we go. The way in which I'm putting them down is from 1 being on the left all the way over to 60 being at the very end of the right. Okay, but to move on from that, my mistake, I made a little mistake. I meant to say push it out like that. To move on from that, the next thing that I'm going to go ahead and do is get a long jumper cable, say this size, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and input that just below at the dot. So right around here. After I've done that, I'm going to go ahead and hook up that red all the way into my power source at the number 12. Number 12, right around such. I'll show you guys at the very end exactly what this looks like. Actually, my mistake. This should be at number 11. There we go. Okay, way to fix that. Okay. To move on from that, I'm then going to go ahead and put 2 jumpers over here that are going to be grounded, right? And the very first one is going to go ahead and go to the negative. And the negative should end up at the ground source, just as such. The other jumper cable is going to be input at the positive, finishing at 5 volts of power provided. From there on out, I'm going to go ahead and do 2 transitions with smaller ones. The very first one, the black one, is going to go ahead and start off, if I have a good visual over here, at number 4, column B. And it's going to go ahead and end up at the positive side, or the negative side, at number 9, right around such. Like I said, again, this is a very complicated build, so I'll show you uphand a little bit closer as to where exactly they should go. Afterwards, I'm going to go ahead and add another transition. This transition, however, is going to start off at column A, number 9, right here, and it's going to go ahead and go into the positive side at number 15, row number 15. There we go. Or yeah, number 15. There we go. Sweet. So far, this is a little something as to what we have. Let's continue to expand on it from there. From there on out, what I'm going to go ahead and do is take a black jumper cable, one of these long ones, right? And then I'm going to go ahead and put it on just below the blue and to the side, right at around here, if I can even insert it to begin with, right there. Okay, and then that is going to go ahead and go into power source number 12. So right next to the red. It's starting to jumble up, so we really got to be careful where we put everything. After I'm done with that, I want to go ahead and start placing my buzzer and my LEDs. It's important to note that the buzzer has one shorter end. I don't know if you can tell right there. This one should be shorter and one longer end. This is called a cathode. And the cathode is going to go ahead and go right smack down into the negative side of the right side of the breadboard in row 23. Again, pause for a visual check. Things should start to look like that. Okay, let's move on. I'm then going to go ahead and take a jumper cable, this white one, and I'm going to put it just above on column C, still on row 23, so that I can put its tail over into the 1 for the PMW. So right here. Okay, sweet. Then from there, I'm going to go ahead and insert my LEDs. My very first LED, the red one, again, I'm going to make sure that I know which one's the smaller side. That one should be the smaller side. So that's going to go to the negative on the right side of the board at, say, 30. Yeah, about 30. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put it right here. Okay, sweet. I have it set. From there on out, right next to it, on the same row, but a couple of, or on the same column, but a couple of rows down, I'm going to go ahead and put my green one. Which again, this being the shorter side, I'm going to go ahead and insert on the negative at 36, and the positive right around such. Pause for a visual check. This is what it looks like. Okay, sweet. Let's go ahead and connect a couple more jumper cables. So 3 that I'm going to go ahead and separate, and these that are going to go. The black one, I'm going to go ahead and put just above the green, just like that. And this is going to go straight into 6. So right over here at number 6. The other one is going to go ahead and go into the red just above it, both in column C, but obviously one in row 30 and the other in row 36. This one is going to go ahead and go into number 7, just like that. If we've done this correctly and followed along, there should be 3 remaining jumper cables, 3 out of 10, right? So we're going to go ahead and take our servo motor, and we're going to go ahead and place them inside of this little container right there, right? What I'm going to go ahead and do is place one here, the second one here, and the third one here. Good. Only one of them is going to connect into the board. So let's go ahead and make it the last one. This blue one right over here. This blue one is going to go ahead and hook up into number 9 on the board over here. So number 9 right over here. These 2 other ones are going to go ahead and hook up into the breadboard. And they're going to start off with the red one going to row 46 right here on the negative side, and one is going to go to 49 on the positive. There we go. So, quick visual check. Don't worry, I'll give a close-up in a bit. but this is what it should look like. Obviously, this has no power, so we want to go ahead and hook up our device into a laptop. All you're going to do is just input it into the USB, and should the code be running as well as the laptop have power, you're going to see this turn on. Now I'm going to go ahead and stop it right now and give you a close-up as to what this means. Okay. Now that we've set up our system, which again should look a little something like that, we're going to go ahead and make sure that this works. And we're going to start it off with the coding software. As you can see, it's currently reading just how close we are to the proximity sensor. We're about 7 centimeters away, right? And I'm going to go ahead and use my hand as a guide to see when we get a little too close. If correct, it should be after we pass the point of 20 centimeters. So again, we should be there. You're going to notice that the buzzer gets very, very loud. It turns to a red light, and our motor closes its tail, its gate.